Welcome back to the next video in our series of setting up ALGOBOX Pro for NinjaTrader 8. Let's come on down here into our training window. My name is Emini. Welcome aboard. Let's come on in here and take a peek. So in the last video, we've got NinjaTrader all set up for ourselves. I did mention, or forgot to mention about the MultiBroker license that I wanted to tell you guys about. So what is MultiBroker and why might you want it or why you might not? MultiBroker does not mean, oh, you can do multiple brokers at any point on any of the NinjaTraders. You can connect to multiple brokers, but at the same time. This is about simultaneously connecting. There we go. All right, simultaneously connecting. How about LY? Simultaneously connecting to multiple brokers at the same time. So, for instance, if I wanted to trade stocks and futures, I would need to connect to two brokers. The multi-broker allows you to connect to both at the same time. Everybody got that? Now, I can still connect to, like, let's say that I only wanted to do stocks. I can connect to my, Ameritrade account. But in order to, if I also wanted to trade futures and I wanted to connect to my Continuum, which again, you'll know what these names are as we press forward, the Continuum connection, I would need to connect these separately. Does that make sense? So that one and that one, you can do it on regular, but on multi-broker, you could have them at the same time. It's a convenience factor, and maybe there's something you might need if you are wanting to look at futures and a stock, for instance, at the same time. Then you want the multi-broker license. I have the multi-broker license. It is a bit more. Don't count me on the cost, but you're talking about the difference between 1,000 on one, the other one's about 1,500. As of the time of my knowledge at this time, of course, and again, the future, or if there's discounts applied, who knows what that would be. So again, don't hold me to the price points on some of that. All right, so now let's talk about getting going from NinjaTrader into ALGOBOX. How do we get this set up? So this is our default out of the box. Remember that we had those main menus across the top. If you are looking at your control center and it doesn't look the same, let's say it looks like this, you're like, well, where's all that text? So as you notice, as I shrink it down, the text of those labels disappears. So get used to these icons to know what they represent, especially that connections one and your workspaces one. Workspaces is going to be important for switching over to ALGOBOX, okay? So reminding where we want to get, we are looking for an ALGOBOX standard 1080p workspace. Now, this is not gonna work for you right out of the box quite yet if you have not done the installation. So let's go ahead and go show you guys how do we get to the installation and how do we get set up so that our charts look like this, all right? So let's pretend like we don't have that. Make sure you close down NinjaTrader first. Once your NinjaTrader is set up, close it down. Go over to our website. We're going to be going to algoboxpro.com. Again, you could be pulling this from vinnyemini.com. It doesn't really matter which one you pull from as of right now. And remember that anything can change in the future as far as our website and things. But as of right now, you'll be able to come right up here, click on download. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that right now. And I'm going to hit download now for the latest version as of this date, 8522. You may get presented with this message. Yes, make sure you click on download anyway. And here we go. So we're going to save that one. Boom. Now I'm going to hit next, finish as we run through that. Let's go ahead and open up my folder, go to my downloads, and I'm going to open this bad boy up right here. All right, so this is what you're going to be presented with. We're just going to next, finish through it. Now this part, you want to make sure that you select this one first. You will need, absolutely required, Pro Gold Edition. So we'll go ahead and hit next. We'll come back. If you got the Gold Pack Pro Edition with the Autobot pack, you will come back and do a separate install. We do not have a, well, you basically need to run through it twice. We don't have a separate installer for that. It's all in the same installer file. So we'll go ahead and let this go here. I'll pause the video here once this is done. All right, so we finished that installer. Now you'll be presented with this window here. If you want to check out the PDF for some of the rules about a room and any of the other types of stuff like this, you can go ahead and review that PDF. I won't go ahead and go through that now, but you can click on that. It's going to launch open the PDF that you can kind of go and review for yourself. All right, so now we are exited, and now we're not going to be looking for a lot of people ask this all the time, like, well, where's the ALGOBOX icon? It's not ALGOBOX. You're actually going to be launching NinjaTrader, and most of you guys are going to be 64-bit edition. I would be very careful that you are running the 64-bit edition, please, for almost everybody's machine these days. It's 2022. Hardly anybody has a 32-bit machine anymore. If you're on Windows 10 or 11, you're likely going to be on a 64-bit. But make sure you are launching the appropriate NinjaTrader for your system. Should be 64-bit. Now, out of the box, this is what your system should look like. Now, when you do make these connections at the very beginning, you are going to be presented with all the windows, but yours may not be populated. The first thing you may see is something that says, hey, do you want to roll over to the proper contract month? The very first thing you should check is current, like right now, it's going to be 0622 contract. You may be watching this years later, and this could be whatever contract month that you are on. NinjaTrader should, out of the box, ask you with a window that says, hey, would you like to switch the contract? Just make sure that you put the proper contract on for your time, okay? So if I click this drop down, I should see the list of the ones that are here. You can select whichever ones you would like to go to. So if I want to come in here and do a selection for any of the items that I've got, I'm not connected right now, so I can't actually do the search, but you will have a search option there and you can set that. There's also short keys, like if I wanted to type in NQ, if I wanted to do the previous one, I would type in NQ dash, and then I could type in, NQ space, and it's going to be 03-22, so it's going to be the previous one. It's going to jack up everything. So your charts may look like this. So if you wanted to go to the proper contract month, again, you can hit the drop down, or again, I'll show you the trick here. I could type NQ space 06-22 and hit enter. That is a fast and quick, easy way to swap between instruments, the typing way, and now you also have the drop down way. All right. So once you've got the ALGOBOX installed, so this is part one. Now I will also want to install the robots for myself. So if you are a person who has the bots, go ahead and check to make sure that all your charts are looking good. And then let's go ahead and close and save. All right. Now I'm going to run the installer one more time. And this time I'm going to show you guys the secondary selector that I would want to do to make sure that I've got the robot pack installed as well. And again, you may or may not, depending on what you guys purchase with this, if you have the Autobot pack or not. I'm going to go ahead and select it. For the optional, agree, next. This one will be real quick, boom, and you are done. All right. So again, you will launch up your NinjaTrader 64-bit edition, and your charts should look like, wait for it, like this right here. And you'll have your, again, previous videos, we talked about this, you'll be getting into training to learn what each one of these represents. These are multi-time frames. We have on the highest time frame is right here. Then we kind of move ourselves down through here, top side, and then down. So we are going from tide, wave, here is our MACV, and then we have our two ripple entries to enter in with the least amount of heat. And depending on what license you got from NinjaTrader, this is one of those kind of reasons to have. If you're not using, well, if you're using a free edition, this will work for you during your trial. But this is one of the features that you will not have. You guys see it. You will see us use this all the time in our trading. Again, this is the ATM window. This is also called the chart trader. The ATMs will also not be functioning on free editions if you are going live. Okay, so there's a distinction there. You may want to contact NinjaTrader about that or ask some of our technical support around that. But if you are out of the box and you got everything set up, even in the free trial edition, all of yours should be fully functional, including the robot pack. If you want to launch the robot pack, you can also come right in here, like for LunchBot, for instance. Click here on the LunchBot. That's going to load up the LunchBot. This was that window I was telling you before that you'll be presented with to ask if you want to change over to the new contract expiration date. I want to say, yes, I do. Click on done. Yes, I wish to continue. And this will now load the current contract month, and NinjaTrader is handling all of that for you. And now this will populate all things that, well, I don't have those two datas on this machine yet, but yeah, if you had all the data feeds all set up for yourself, these would be showing for you and all fully populated. And of course, there are future videos that you'll be watching for all of that. That is how you set up your ALGOBOX Pro. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below. Check with our technical support. And that will conclude this video. Hang in there for the next one. See ya.